music. My third one is Placebo.
Placebo. Yep, I know Placebo.
Again, most people know them. Most people have heard the songs on the radio, but I think the kind of back catalogue for the band that have released such big songs as they have, the fact that when I go to their gigs, I can get right up to the bar at the stage without a single bit of stress or worry, just goes to show that they're not bringing in the audience that I think they should be. Now, to be fair, on a critical aspect, the last few albums haven't really hit the highs that they previously did, but I would definitely put them in my top 5 favourite bands, hands down. I can't really quite explain what it is about them that makes them great, but I think they're great, and the music's great, but I kind of feel like, they're kind of this trapped in amber band that everyone remembers them from kind of like the 90s and the early 2000s, and people just aren't really keeping track of them anymore, or they're not really kind of coming up in general kind of conversation, or they've kind of, I think the best way to put it is they've kind of lost a bit of relevancy. The fan base has dwindled, and I don't know. I just think they should get like a bit more love and a bit more appreciation for what they are and what they've done.
I see where you're coming from. I think if I didn't know you, John, and I know you're a big Placebo fan, if I didn't know you, I wouldn't know Placebo was still going. I'll put it that way. I would not be aware that they're still going. I remember them from the late 90s. I remember knowing and kind of liking 2 or 3 songs, maybe. Not liking them enough to go any further than to delve. I know there was a lot of androgyny with the lead singer, with the gender, like very feminine, and I feel like that would probably go a hell of a long way in the modern age. Obviously, time's passed, and they may not dress or sound like that anymore. I don't know. I haven't listened to Placebo anything really since the stuff in the 90s that was popular on like Kerrang. But I'll have to take your word for it that they're massively underrated. They're still going. They've clearly still got a love for the music. It's a shame that the fan base hasn't quite carried on to the peak that it was in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Because I was aware that they were a massively well-followed band. I just never followed them. But I appreciate them.
The way I feel about it is I kind of feel like, obviously we're kind of like an aging generation now, we're well into our adulthood and stuff. Obviously, like social media trends and how some bands have kind of had a bit of a revival in recent years, especially on the likes like TikTok and stuff like that. I kind of feel like stuff like the LGBTQ communities and stuff would eat Placebo up. Like they would love it, but I just don't think it's getting to their ears. And I think that is a bit of a shame because, as you say, Brian Molko, if I'm saying his second name right there, was very kind of iconic in kind of like his on stage kind of cross dressing, that
very androgynous.
Yeah, that kind of gender bending kind of the way he did it, and there was always a lot of mystery behind it, and a lot of like questions into kind of like the sexuality, and then you look into the songs, and I think they were kind of quite revolutionary at their time for being very open on certain subjects and stuff like that. And I just feel like, similar to churches and stuff like that, I just feel like they should have a bit more love, and I would like to see them get more of a modern revival from kind of a younger generation.
You could say that they were a band that were painfully ahead of their time. That if they'd have come out a few years later, they'd have maybe hit it off a lot bigger, because they had a good following back in the day. Yeah. At their peak, they had a really good following, but yeah, maybe ahead of their time.
Yeah, I think that can be a problem sometimes with some artists. So